EverQuest is a virtual online world. It's a game, really, but the way it's set up is it's a multiplayer-based world. It's a game. Everybody who plays it has their own individual character. EverQuest, you do take on the first-person aspect of your character. In EverQuest, you actually, while you're playing the game, you role-play your character. You become that character, much like you would in a virtual reality type scenario. Basically, EverQuest provides you with a character. You are left as the player to describe your character's feelings, how he reacts in certain situations, how he goes about doing certain things, how he or she reacts to other players in the game. Role-playing is basically the skill of developing your character, of creating your character's personality. EverQuest has 30 different world servers that are all the same, but everybody who plays EverQuest can't fit on the same server. There's about 30 different world servers, and right now there's probably about between 2,000 to 3,000 people on each of those 30 servers. Keep in mind that these people are from Japan, they're from Hong Kong, they're from all over the world. EverQuest takes everybody from all over the world and allows them to play the game. And about 5 years ago, I played a game called a MUD. And MUD is basically the same thing as EverQuest. It stands for Multi-User Dungeon. And a MUD is EverQuest but without pictures. It's all text-based. One of my friends that I knew from high school, we used to play MUD the same amount of time as we play EverQuest. I stopped playing MUDs for a while. He found the game EverQuest from one of his friends. He started playing with it. Told me to come over one night, showed me what it was all about. I recognized that it was everything that I used to play in a MUD, but it had pictures. MUD started when I was in high school, freshman year in high school, and done a lot of things. Definitely influenced my life in many ways. Grades slipped, lost friendships over the games, put tons of time into the games when I could have been doing other things. Neglected homework, neglected family to play those games. Got kicked out of high school for playing those games. My junior year, I got kicked out of Scripps Ranch High School. Had to go in alternative ed school, which was kind of good because at that school they didn't give homework, so I could spend more time playing the game, really. Didn't have to study for tests as much. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. A lot of times when you're playing that game, it's like living an alternate life. Same thing happens, just encompasses all aspects of life. Wake up in the morning, maybe 7 in the morning, go to the chair, sit down, start playing. About 2 in the morning rolls around, about 15 hours later. Go straight to bed, wake up the next morning, do it all over again. And you look at drugs, and you look at EverQuest. People say to me, how can drugs compare to EverQuest? Well, there's a lot of ways. EverQuest has a lot of physical wear on your body. When you're sitting in that chair for 100 hours a week, I mean, that's a lot of times where you could be exercising or you could be doing more productive things physically. There's strong mental addiction. People get very attached to their characters. You see people who cry when their character dies in a game. A lot of people, when something unfair or life-threatening happens to their character, they quit the game. They throw a fit. One of my friends leveled to level 60, and he was so upset with his character and the situation that he'd worked himself into, he took his computer and he threw it into a pond, swearing never to play the game again. Yesterday I was online. He logged on from a net cafe. Had to talk to everybody, couldn't stay away from the game.
I started mudding, and then after a little while he started playing. That's how I met him. I thought he was a jerk at first, and I didn't like him. Yeah. And then that's how I met him.
She lived in Missouri when I met her, about, 1,400 miles away. Our relationship mostly was made up of us talking on the game, talking over the phone.
Typical story. Your boyfriend causes you to move 1,200 miles away. I sleep all night. He stays awake. So therefore, in the day when I come home, we don't do anything because he wants to play EverQuest. So basically, if he has plans, it's like, oh, I got a raid at 3 o'clock. That's Merv's plans. I got to go to Hate Plane for a whole week to get my breastplate, and then he sits there and finally gets his breastplate and starts shaking. Oh my God, my breastplate!
I have a pretty big leadership responsibility in the game, and I've worked my way to that point in the game. And for certain events, I just have to be there. I can't. It's like maybe a job in some respect. I can't not show up there. It's my responsibility to be there. And because of my devotion to the game, I don't go places with her. We don't go out to eat dinner as much as we used to. Don't spend as much time as we used to together.
Might as well be on drugs. At least you'd still go do something.
Everybody has the same goals in the game, to get powerful and rich, things that are hard to acquire in the game. People actually take those items with their character and actively sell them on eBay. They take those virtual items and they sell them online, taking money from in the game, selling it for real money in real life. Pretty crazy the way that it intertwines with reality, and how people are willing to spend their real life money on buying things in the game to enhance their characters, to get things they normally couldn't get, to purchase things that they don't want to spend the time to get.
At first I hated the whole eBay thing because I was like, don't waste your money on eBay. But, then he started selling stuff, and it's insane what people will pay for stuff. And then I tell people at work, and they're like, you're selling imaginary items? What are you doing? I'm like, people actually pay for this stuff, so go for it. I don't care, if he's going to do that, at least get something out of it.
How much money do I make from eBay? Well, probably about a good week can do $400, $500 in a good week. It all depends, if the creature's dropping the items that we need, the items that are in demand at the time. It varies, really. You can get lucky. It's all based on luck. Something good could happen, and I could make $1,000 in 1 week. Could make $200 in 1 week if things aren't going good for me. A couple months ago, I had a job. I worked for this company, and it was a pretty good job, but when I started leveling up in EverQuest, another thing just like school, I couldn't help it. The addiction took over, really, and I was compromising work time, calling in sick, leaving work early, come home and play EverQuest, not showing up a day, missing a week at a time, basically quit over it. Play EverQuest full time. Who needs a job? Fuck jobs. EverQuest.